Hi, I'm Tammy from tammyguest.com, the entrepreneur's naturopath. This is our second installment of the 3 biggest things that are making you fatter, foggier, and more fatigued as an entrepreneur the longer you're in business. Today's episode is all about your thyroid, that butterfly-shaped gland that sits just around your Adam's apple, and its function is to look after your metabolism. It's a little bit like a thermostat or a gauge. If you get too hot, it brings everything down. If everything goes a bit fast, it brings everything a little bit slower. And the opposite is true too, depending on its function. So things that you might notice if your thyroid might be slipping a little is an inability to lose weight, a bit of a brain fog, can't concentrate, a tendency to be a little bit more worried than usual, or maybe have a little bit more flat days than usual. Wouldn't necessarily call it depression, but those kinds of symptoms. And you might have an irritable bowel-like symptoms where you some days it's all a bit rushed and a bit it comes out in a flurry, and other days it might be a little bit constipated. These are all tendencies towards your thyroid not working terribly well. Others might be fatigue and hair loss as well. If any of these seem familiar to you, then going and checking out with a health professional where your thyroid's at is really important. There's 3 things best to look at when it comes to thyroid health. Number 1 is measure it, just the same as in your business. Measuring and having a base level is a really good way of checking whether or not it's going to change in the future. There is 5 particular different types of tests that you need to get done for your thyroid. Your doctors will only check generally one called TSH. Now TSH is your brain telling your thyroid what to do. It's a thyroid stimulating hormone. So it might say, oh no, the body's told us everything is fine, keep doing what you're doing, when in actual fact the thyroid might be telling the body whatever the hell it wants. Your thyroid lets out 2 particular types of hormone, one's T3 and one's T4. They both need to be checked as well because they're messages to your body about what your thyroid should be doing. Then there's 2 other pieces of information in the whole kit and caboodle that you also need to know about. They're antibodies. Now, when your body fights itself or chops up the little pieces of information or messages that are getting through, then you're not going to get the right information back to your brain, and your TSH should be changing. So if that T3 and T4 aren't coming out the way that they should, and your thyroid starts getting attacked, then we start to have a discrepancy with what's going on there. The number 2 thing that you need to figure out when it comes to your thyroid is the level of nutrients that it particularly needs. Now, thyroids can't function without vitamin D, iodine, and selenium. If you've got a frank vitamin D deficiency, and in Australia our numbers are for about 1 in 3 women in Australia have a vitamin D deficiency, and with all of this sunshine one would imagine that we should be getting plenty, but the entrepreneurial world we do tend to stay inside. So checking out your vitamin D, and it needs to be 100. The second one I said there was iodine, and iodine is something that we need to find in seaweed or miso soup, or we might find in iodized salt. So iodine, again, 1 in 3 women in Australia are low in iodine, and getting that checked, again, it needs to be about 100. The last one is selenium. Now, selenium used to be in the soils everywhere, but generally isn't going to be found there anymore. Selenium is found high in Brazil nuts. So checking your selenium levels may be the reason that your thyroid's slowing up a little. The third thing to look after when it comes to your thyroid is your adrenals. Now, if you didn't see the first video, check down underneath here in the comments section for the link to our first video about adrenal function. Your adrenal glands have a feedback loop for your thyroid, and before you clap out and your adrenals go, before they clap out and give you chronic fatigue, your thyroid stretches and stretches and stretches. And the little problem there is your thyroid takes the brunt of it, your metabolism slows, you get all of those brain fog, can't concentrate, fatter, foggier, fatigue types of issues, and you can't get them checked out. So having those 3 things to look at and to make sure that you're on top of are really, really important. Now, If you found this useful or for yourself or somebody else, please feel free to share it, and share with us any of your insights in the comments below. And if you haven't already, go and check out tammyguest.com and grab your free copy of our ebook on food and vitality for entrepreneurs. I'll see you in the next episode.